Hello, everybody. Cal Banyan here on Cal Banyan's Hypnosis Center on calbanyan.com. And gosh, we're back. We're back. We're hunkered down. This is a hunkered down, another hunkered down podcast because Erica's hunkered down and I'm hunkered down. And some things might not be as perfect and beautiful, but we're going to get it done. We're not going to let this bug win. We're not going to let this bug win. We're just going to keep going, not just surviving, but thriving. And so, with that said, let me tell you something we're going to talk about today. You know, in the last 4 episodes, I was with Penny, and we talked a lot about how to get you guys online. Because I want to say it, I said it before, we'll say it again. You can do hypnosis sessions online. Did you get that? You can do hypnosis sessions online. You really can. And so I want to give Erika a chance to give her take on that. And I'm going to show you kind of an inside look at some of the equipment I use. Inexpensive and absolutely unnecessary. You can get by without it. All right, let me tell you about Erika. And you guys know Erika if you've been watching for a while. She is an awesome hypnotist. She's a trainer for us. She's a 5-path certified, board certified hypnotherapist, hypnotist. And in Washington, where she's at, they're called hypnotherapists. Me, I'm just a lowly hypnotist here in Texas. Nothing fancy. Well, actually, I am board certified, but I must go on. It was funny because before the show, I was talking to Erika about how we have to keep these introductions a little bit shorter, but I could go on and on about her. I'll tell you something that's going on. One of my favorite things in the world is to be first. And Erika is about to be first of the very first person to do an online certification course where everybody is online live and recognized by the National Guild of Hypnotists. How exciting is that? How you doing, Erika?
Really good to be here today. And, you know, I am excited about our upcoming class, which is going to be all online. And I just want to point out how cool it is that you were the one who developed a lot of the online requirements for the National Guild of Hypnotists, for the hypnotists to practice online, but also for the instructors to be giving their classes online. And those have been adopted by the NGH. So there's another firsts for you, Cal. I don't know if you've mentioned that yet or not, but it's just really amazing to be associated with the 5-Path organization and you leading the way in a lot of areas for our profession right now. So it's an honor to be working with you on this.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a little bit of background on that. So I've been lobbying and pushing and cajoling the NGH for a long time to recognize online sessions. And I managed to be the only person that the NGH had allowed to do hypnosis training online. So I had these hybrid classes where I'd have some students online and some on site. And I've done that for years and years. And I've been lobbying to have other people be able to do it too. But it was very technical. And now it's becoming simpler and simpler to do. And so the NGH put me in charge of 2 things. And that was putting together doing the research, the background, providing them information they need to make a decision about doing hypnosis sessions online. And with the report I put together, then I partnered with Dr. Reverend Scott Giles. You may know him because he's the legal liaison with the National Guild of Hypnotists between like senators and the government and stuff like that. And he had been involved in writing standards before, and then he went through what I did and made it look more like the NGH standards, because I can be really kind of 5-path centric, and he made it more general for like National Guild of Hypnotists, which I greatly appreciate. And that went so well that when I was putting together the standards for doing online certification training, live online certification training, both where all the students are online and where it's a hybrid class where some students are online, some are on site, that I put that together and I asked Dr. Reverend Scott Giles to go through that again. So he's got like second author on that stuff. And I tell you what, Scott Giles is like probably one of the smartest guys in the entire world of hypnotism. So smart and classy guy. All right.
Yeah.
So much for that. Where are we going with this?
Well, I really wasn't finished introducing you. Let me just tell everybody a little bit more about you, Cal, because Cal's been in the hypnotherapy, hypnosis profession for over 20 years, and he's won nearly every single award from the National Guild of Hypnotists. And like I just mentioned, he's authored 2 new standards to help our profession, to help our clients, to help our hypnotists show up better for their clients online. And yes, we can do sessions online. He's an author, he's a speaker, he's a trainer of some of the best people in the world. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. As I mentioned before, once I started working with 5-Path, that's when my practice really took off. And so I've just been loving being a 5-Pather and helping clients get amazing results for, I can't believe it, Cal, but it's 7 years now. So it's been pretty awesome.
So glad to have you on the 5-Path team, to be a leader and inspiration to other 5-Pathers. You write articles for the 5-Path Journal, and then also now for the National Guild of Hypnotists Journal and stuff. All right. So as I said to everybody, all of our wonderful viewers, is that, we've done like these 4 episodes on doing sessions online. And I just wanted to give Erika a chance she hasn't seen those yet, because as we're recording these, those have not yet been published. So only I and my editing people have seen that. So, but I'm sure that Erika has a very professional take at it. So what would you like to kind of like the main nuggets you want everybody to know about doing hypnosis sessions online?
Works just as well. I've been working with folks online mostly because of my books. And so when I published my books, people from around the world were contacting me. But then what I noticed is that a lot of my clients, there were times when we would have a snowstorm, or there would be times when they would be stuck at home. And so it's turned into something more than just working with folks that, from a different part of the country or something like that. I've had clients connect with me when they are traveling, or if they have anticipated travel and we're still able to continue sessions if that's what they want. So I really, want people to understand it works really well. This is nothing new that the profession of hypnotism is just deciding to do because of the pandemic. This is something that people have been doing for quite some time, and we've been getting results for quite some time. And so I really want people to just know it works and feel confident with it. And now, Cal's going to share, and I can share too, some of the equipment we use, because we want to make it easy for you. Yes, there's a lot of equipment and a lot of choices out there. So, we can make it easy with what we know works, basically.
Awesome. And I have a confession right here. I had a negative attitude towards doing hypnosis sessions online, because my style is very in your face, touching this and lifting that and touching on the shoulder. And I knew that those were tools that were very helpful, and to proceed without them, I was probably a little bit insecure. And but then I, just like Eric, I had so many people from around the world that want to do sessions with me, and for the longest time, I mean years and years, over a decade, probably 15 years, people were actually flying in, driving cross country to do sessions with me, and I do like double sessions to try to get them done in a short period of time. And then they would go away happy. And then later on, they want to work on something else, or they want to just tune up a little bit, and they didn't want to fly all the way in for 1 or 2 sessions. And so I was cajoled into doing it, and I went, wow, this works just as good. I like it. I got to do a few little modifications. Like, instead of me lifting their hand, guess what I do? I say, okay, now lift your hand and drop it. And so, and I go over these things in the course, but I think I might have talked about some of the modifications in some of the previous podcasts. Awesome. Keep going.
Well, the other thing that I like to mention, because I've, answered a lot of questions from other hypnotists asking me this, or even clients, and they'll say something like, but in person is better. Well, you know what? In person for everything, in my opinion, is usually better. And so, I can give my client a hug if they want a hug. I can pat them on the back. I can do all of those things. So I don't know that we're trying necessarily to say that the remote style of session is better in all ways. It is very good and it works really well, but it's not going to replace that in-person thing. And it's just interesting that a lot of hypnotists like to bring that up, that, oh, I'd rather see them in person. Well, I would too. Just like right now, we might rather be able to give our mom or our sister or our loved ones a hug, but a Zoom meeting, during the pandemic is better than nothing. And so just to kind of level set that, nobody's saying that it's going to necessarily be the same as being able to give your client a hug or pat them on the back or something like that, but it's effective. And I think we're getting our clients results. So that's what we have to do and continue to think about, because our clients need a lot of help right now, just like they always do. It might be a little bit different, the things they're struggling with, but they still need a lot of help. And so we still need to be out there providing service to our clients.
You're absolutely right on all levels. And one of the things is hypnotists have been doing this for a long time. I mean, it started before online and it was called, telehypnosis sessions because they're doing it on the telephone. This is way better than that. And then also, it's human nature to just want to do it the same old way you've always done it. And so you want to do it sessions, you're familiar with it. Subconscious mind loves familiar, and the unfamiliar can be a little bit scary, nerve-wracking. And so there's some fear that's generated with that, some insecurity, like I admitted to, which I'll never do again, never, okay? And then, and also, let's say that it wasn't as good, just for the sake of the argument. But guess what? Right now, that's the only way it can be done. And for some people, after this whole pandemic thing is over, it's still going to be the only way that it can be done, because there's no hypnotist in their area, or it might be because they don't have the ability to leave the house, or to be gone from the house for very long, because like oxygen needs or medical needs and stuff like that. And so let's not let the bug win. Let's use this opportunity to sharpen a whole new skill set, which will allow us to help people throughout the world, ambulatory and non-ambulatory, shy and gregarious, all these people. Because I'll tell you what now, location is irrelevant. I stole that from Owl Labs. They sent me a cup because I'm a big proponent of the Meeting Owl, which is a 360-degree camera. I'm not going to get into it right now. But on their mug, their thing, it says, location is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant right now is language and interest, purpose, that kind of thing. Good. Hey, let's talk a little bit. I promised about equipment.
Yes.
You want to tell them about like what you use, and then I'll talk about and I've got some screenshots of some equipment.
Yeah, so I do have a ring light, and it's not here with me right now. It is in the office, but when I'm in the office, right now my setup is kind of, and as you said, Cal, we're doing the best we can with what we've got. So my desk is pushed all the way up against the wall, and there's really no good place to put a ring light in front of me. But there are times when I will use my some headphones, and so under what circumstances do I use headphones? Well, I usually use headphones if I'm getting some type of feedback. But I don't really like to use the headphones if I don't have to, because they tend to hurt my ears over time. So if I'm doing a full day of online sessions with clients, I don't want it to bother my ears. And so if I don't have to use the headphones, I won't. But I do if there's a little bit of feedback. And I know that you shared with me earlier a ring light that you like to use. So do you want to talk about some of the equipment that you like?
Okay, excellent. Thanks for sharing. Now, one of the things I want you folks to know is you probably already have everything you need to do it. If you are watching this, you probably have everything you need to do this. So, I mean, if you have an internet connection, now I use Zoom as my conference platform. You can use anything you want. Zoom requires 10 megabits minimum is recommended. I've gotten away with a cell phone, which does a little bit less, because I test the internet speed, and it's about 7 megabits, which isn't too bad. But you probably already have everything you need. Laptop, got a camera in it, it's got a microphone in it, you got a window, you got a light, you're ready to go. And that's when I started doing, when I got hunkered down here in my house. I know it doesn't look like I'm in my house because I'm using a little Zoom magic because I got a green screen and this is a picture of my office in the background. But I'm going to show you something. So look at that. That's just a green screen hanging on my wall right there. It's not even straight. That's the kind of sloppiness you can get away with. All right, boom, now look at me. Oh, I'm looking all professional again. Now, I did not have the green screen. All I had was my laptop in a spare room with a window and whatever light I had above and a blank wall. Because your background has to be, it should not diminish the quality of your session, right? And so a blank wall worked fine. And so then I started tinkering around with it, and Zoom has like fake backgrounds, but it didn't work to have a white wall with a white guy in a white shirt. There wasn't enough contrast to use a fake background. And so for like $60, I ordered that green screen, and it's collapsible. It's kind of like you twist it and it becomes 3 rings that go in a carrier. So if forever I want to just put it away, I can do that. Don't need it. Don't need it. You know, if you've got a blank wall, or you've got, you know, a nice looking anything background, that it will work just fine. Lighting can be tricky. For example, for some reason, we're having a heck of a time getting a good flesh tone with Erika there. We've kind of tinkered around with it. I don't know what's going on. It's probably Zoom is doing some crazy thing with her camera, but you know, she could tinker with that. And she could still do a hypnosis session like that. People realize that she's online. People have a little bit lower expectation of, you know, what the video quality is going to be like. And you got to remember, after you've done like the pre-hypnosis interview stuff, then the rest it's going to be with their eyes closed anyway. Okay, so I'm going to talk about another piece of superfluous equipment that I have. I'm going to do a screen share because I went into Amazon.com to open up some of the stuff I'm doing. Uh-oh, there we go. That didn't work out right. This is one of the things that happens to have a live podcast. All right, so I need to go screen share. Oh, I forgot to do one extra click. There we go. So let's do this. So we talked about ring lights. So I got this ring light. There it is. It's $89.99, $90. And I bought it because it's right now, I have a ring light going on, but I have it on its lowest setting. I could get away just fine with just the 2 windows, be great. But I find that clients like to be able to see into my eyes, and I wear glasses, and so if lighting's not right, it can cast kind of a shadow there. So I'm using the ring light to kind of help fill in, and when people can see into your eyes, they feel more connected. And so I'm just going ahead and using it. It's not my primary light, it's a fill light, but it can make a really good primary light. Now, if you do it, not necessary. Remember, if you do it, I recommend get the biggest one you can. This is 18-inch. That's how big around it is. I like having it a stand. I don't want it sitting on I prefer sitting on the floor because it's solid instead of on my desk, because I would bump the desk and it's rattling around and stuff like that. So there you go. There's a ring light.
And Cal, this one, I just want to point out, sorry to interrupt, but this one has a mount for your iPhone or for your iPad, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
let me go back to that.
Yeah. So that, like, I just want to make sure that everybody understands you don't have to put an iPhone or an iPad in there. And so Cal, you're probably like, when you use your ring light, you're still using your laptop, right? This isn't like the ring light isn't just for a mobile device. And I see some people getting a little confused about that, but the head of that one can bend. You don't have to put an iPad or iPhone in there. It just makes it easy if you do have one, if you're kind of standing up. If you wouldn't do that for sessions, but I just want to point out that some people might think they have to put an iPad or iPhone in there because of this picture, but it's just not true.
Exactly right. So I've got the ring light behind my laptop, and I've also got it placed up higher than most people would use it so that it doesn't reflect in my glasses. Okay,
Mm.
so also, like as Erika was talking about, so I'm going to just do, so Erika, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right, so there you go. If you see, it's got like a camera that's in the middle. It's got a demonstration of a phone in the middle. Like if I was going to do just like a little 3-minute thing for Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, I could just put my phone in there, and it comes with actually a little remote control, which is Bluetooth. I mean, if you want to get that fancy about it, there we go. In the bottom right-hand corner, the little pink thing is a remote control, so I could turn the phone on and off without that awkward thing where you're reaching around trying to turn off the video after you're done talking. So there you go. Not a big deal, not necessary. It's nice. And now I'm going to go to the speakers. One of the challenges that can happen with clients, as you know from seeing clients live, is they can start talking so softly you can't even hear them. So what you can do is, of course, ask them to speak loud. You say, I want you to speak up, say it again, beautiful. Speaking louder won't interfere with what we're doing at all. But you have more control at home if you get some powered speakers. These are not just any old speakers. These are not passive speakers. These are speakers that go from my headphone output into the speaker, and I have like a Y connector that allows it to do this. There we go. That's the back of one of the speakers. Got a little amplifier in there. It's got a volume control, bass control, and then there's 2 pins there, a white and a red colored one for left and right. And now the recording we do is monaural, which means not stereo. And you just get the wire. You go to any old Radio Shack if you can find one, or Best Buy or whatever, and say, I want to go from a headphone jack into, write this down, RCA jack. So it's a little Y connector, and that's what I did. There may be other ways to do it too. You may find some speakers that you can just go a headphone jack into them. But it's important that they're powered so I can really turn it up and listen to my client when they're speaking softly. So there you
And
go.
that's great advice, Cal, because it's really like, it's really difficult if you're having a hard time hearing your client. Like now all of this energy is being spent just trying to understand what they're saying. And so, we don't want our hypnotists, we don't want you to be wasting kind of your energy trying to hear. So the powered speakers can make a big, big difference in that area.
Super duper. All right, let me just show this one other thing that I have started using, and that is a lavalier mic. And gosh, it's here somewhere. Oh, it's being covered up by something. There we go. Now, I've been using lavalier mics for years. A little known bit of information about me is when I first went to college way back in 1977, okay, when I was out of the military, and I thought I wanted to be a recording engineer. And I studied record engineering. And so I happen to know a lot about the physics of sound and getting good audio recordings and that kind of stuff, because the laws and physics of recording does not change with technology. And what's the most important thing you can do when it comes to having a microphone is to place it within that 6 to 8 inches from your mouth kind of thing. And it can make a very inexpensive microphone give you very good output, especially when we're talking about voice. If you're trying to do bass and cymbals and stuff like that, then dynamic range and frequency range and all that stuff is hard to record. But voice is very easy to amplify and record and stuff like that. So here's an example. This is what I'm using right now, a $23 mic, $22.99. Some things I like about it is A, it works, B, it's very inexpensive, it's everything you need, and it is USB. Good mics often are not just passive, but they're active. And like the one I use when I do my normal podcast at the office, it has a battery in it. And every time I record a new set of podcasts, it gets a new battery, because I don't want to take the chance of the battery going out during the recording of a podcast. Well, this microphone is powered through the USB connection. So if I got computer running, my mic's going to be perfect. So there you go. If you add all that stuff together, you can, let me see, how much are they listing the speakers for? Okay, so they're $70. The mic is $23, and then the fancy schmancy, more than you need ring light is $89. You don't need any of it, but you can buy one piece at a time and see how that works for you to make it, if you're going to continue to do online sessions for a long period of time. All right, good. Back to you, Erika.
So Cal, are you using the integrated camera in your computer? Or like me, I don't like the integrated camera in my computer because my computer is kind of old and the camera that came with it is just not as good. So I'm using a Logitech HD 1080p that's sitting on top of my monitor. So what about you?
Okay, so I am using a laptop with the camera in it, and it's not an expensive laptop. It is, gosh, I don't even know what the brand it is. Then it's an HP, okay, and it's got a 1080p camera in it, and it's thoroughly adequate. Now, I recently bought a high-end gaming laptop. I wanted to have something that was gaming because I was going to do video editing, and gaming laptops have this advanced graphics processing, and I'm going to, because I'm starting to do some video editing, and I'm out on my patio and I start to record something. I go, man, I look terrible. What's going on here? And it's got a terrible camera in it, a 720p or whatever that is. I could not believe it. So here's this medium priced. Make sure if you're going to use a laptop and you have to buy one, that it's 1080p or higher, because it'll be sharper, clearer. And the problem with external cameras is sometimes they're too high, and then it's hard to get the angle right. It just depends. Like my office, I've got where I do my sessions with clients. It's just like this. In fact, it is this same laptop. I brought it from my office here. My desk computer has a big 32-inch curved monitor, and guess what? It doesn't have a camera in it. So I would have to put a webcam up there, and it would really be kind of high, and people are kind of used to looking at me on videos with a certain angle. Let me say one thing about that. So I've got my laptop so that the camera is slightly above eye level. You guys are used to seeing me with that camera view. And so I've got this, I got a thick book, and I've got a Pelican case that I use to store backup hard drives in, which is like a hard case. It's about this tall. Then I have another book on top of that. Okay. Now, if I was doing a lot of typing, it would be too high. But for the purpose it's doing, I've got that camera up there. And in my class, I talk about this a lot and get people dialed in so that they look right on camera. By the way, if you're interested in getting my certification course, I only take 20 people at a time. That's how many people I can handle and get everybody's questions answers. It's about 7 hours long, and it's not on my website. If you want to find out about it, go to my website, calbanyan.com, and give us a call or email me at probably Tasha at hypnosis.org. All that stuff's on the website. But having good camera angles and lighting and stuff, it makes you look like what you're doing. And as I always say, hypnosis is a confidence game. If you don't get their confidence, there ain't gonna be no game. And so to do performance, I think the more you can look like you know what you're doing, the better. All right. Don't I look like I know what I'm doing? Look at that. I got certificates in the background and everything. All right, back to you.
You look like you know what you're doing, for sure. And I just want to clarify, you're talking about your online, so a hypnotist who's already certified, but getting certified and doing online sessions, because you have at least 2 certification courses, one for people to become hypnotists, and then one for to be certified to do online sessions.
Right. I didn't want to turn this into a big commercial, so I kind of blundered that. What it is so we have a course for hypnotists who are already certified on how to safely, ethically, efficaciously, professionally do online sessions. It is the course from which the NGH standards came from, because the course came first and then it was developed into the standards that the National Guild of Hypnotists is recommending for all of the members. Awesome. We're running way over on this one.
Yeah, only just one last thing I want to mention. When you get your technology, please play with it and try it out. Don't leave that test run for your first client. You should know your technology and know how to change things, and that again is really what Cal's talking about having confidence in what you do. So I know a lot of people like to throw their user manuals away when they get something like a ring light, but yes, make sure you know how to use it. Make sure you know how to use the microphone and all of that before you work with your client.
That's absolutely right. Test, 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 practice, practice, practice. That's what professionals do. And one other thing is play with it. I mean, if you've been using FaceTime and stuff like that, stop it. Start using this so that you're familiar with it. There's all little things you can learn and dial in. I'm currently hosting a weekly get-together with some of my motorcycle club brothers, and on Fridays we just, because they're all homebound and they're used to hanging out with each other, and so it's kind of a BYOB virtual clubhouse, and it's a good time. I shut them down last week at 12 o'clock. I said, I'm out of here. If this thing's still running after I leave, good for you. Okay, so yeah, play with it. All right, please wrap it up, Erika.
All right, well, it's wonderful sharing these tips with everybody online. We know that you can do this, and we want to encourage you to continue working with your clients through this crisis. And in the meantime, you're going to learn how to do some really awesome online sessions and continue to serve and help people where they are. I'm Erika Flint. You can find me at CascadeHypnosisTraining.com, and my upcoming classes, certification courses are in July and October. I hope to see you there.
Awesome. Thank you, Erika. And of course, on CalBanyan.com, you can find out about my courses and everything else I do. And guess what? Me and Erika, we do sessions online. And if you'd like to have us as your hypnotist, we'll be happy to see if we can work that out for you. You must be fluent in English because I failed Spanish in high school. All right, Cal Banyan.